What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. I'm Marcus Grant, along with Michael F. Florio and Laquan Jones. I don't even know if it looks like that on everybody else's screen. I just pointed to the way it looks on my screen.
It works out.
All right, cool. I'm glad that worked out. It is a Thursday. We are hanging out with you for the next half hour or so. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. Our movie of the week, we dipped back into the 90s for Backdraft. I pulled it out just because after Donald Sutherland died last week, I'm like, let me go back to one of the movies that it's not, he's not a star in it. He's not the main character, but it is one of his really fun performances and really does tie in the movie. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But fellas, how are we feeling on this Thursday? Summer is officially here, by the way.
Yeah, it is here, right? Like it's feeling good. It's getting hot. Like I had to pull a loud shirt out today, man. Like feeling good, looking good, and yeah. What's up with you, Florio?
Look, the Mets just swept the Yankees. The Knicks got Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. It's a good time to be a blue and orange fan from New York right now. So I had to break out the Lindor shirt, and it's not often we could get bragging rights over Yankee fans. So that's big. And then I know, Marcus, you got Ohtani hitting a home run. Probably just hit another one right now.
He might have just hit another one right now. It's funny, too, because the dude has like 25 home runs this season. I mean, he's been amazing for the Dodgers. Wow. And my wife is like, how come I've never seen him hit a home run? She's like, he's hit 25 home runs. I've never actually seen one of them. I'm like, how have you not? Like, I have the games on at home pretty much every night.
It seems like a her problem.
I mean, it kind of is a her problem. I keep trying, the one game we went to this year, I don't think he had a hit. I think he had a walk, but I don't think he got a hit. And then like the next day he hits 2 home runs. We're like, thanks, bro. You couldn't have hit one of those the night before. That would have been nice. But no, speaking of you wearing the Mets gear tonight, or today, I should say, I know the Mets-Braves rivalry is a long-standing one. You got into a little bit of beef on Twitter with the Braves mascot. Please explain to the viewing audience what exactly happened.
So for those who don't know, the Mets Grimace threw out a first pitch like a week or so ago, like probably over 2 weeks ago now, and then the Mets have been the hottest team in baseball since.
Insane. Yeah.
Like they won 7 in a row, and then they have not lost a series since. So Met fans and the Mets and McDonald's itself are like going all in on this. Like Mr. Mets on the McDonald's profile and stuff. So Blooper, who's ever even heard of Blooper, the Braves mascot, which is clearly a Philly fanatic wannabe.
Another shot, by the way.
Goes to a McDonald's, posts a picture and says, "Grimace, renounce your blessings of the Mets and my life is yours." And I quoted that and wrote, "A social team really signed off on this?" And then they took shots at me being like, "You must be the engagement expert. We get more engagement than you." And then I sent back one that was like, "Grimace knows who his real friends are," with a picture of him and Mr. and Mrs. Met. And then it kind of ended there. But I thought about throwing another shot this morning.
Yeah.
Just all like the Empire State Building and everyone is tweeting about Grimace. So I wanted to quote it and be like, Blooper right now with the meme that's like, "You get in there and you make this about yourself." Should I send that shot or should I let this die?
I think you should probably let it die. Although, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the chat has any ideas. Like, does he fire the shot or do we just sort of let it go? I mean, it's June 27th. What else really is going on right now?
I'm toxic. Send the shot again, Mike.
They came for my engagement, and I'm like, "Yo, it's June."
Roman says to send it. He's like, full send.
You know what?
It's happening. It's happening right now. We're doing it live on the show. Yep. Susie says you got to do it. Do it for the plot. Yep, it's happening right now. He's got it in drafts. Yes, it's happening.
It's drafts, so you know it's deep.
This is an all-time cheat sheet moment. Oh my goodness, it's sent. It's out there. Oh man. Yep, Dominic's all about it. Send it. Let's do it. Yeah. Full send. It's gone. That's wild.
Such a random beef, though.
I will admit, when they responded to me, I was like, whoa, like I just thought I'd send out a tweet and that would be that. And
Yeah.
and no, they and somewhat a friend of mine like messaged me and they were like, they're going kind of hard. And I was like, I had to remind myself that it's a mascot. Like
right.
It's a mascot.
Oh man, this is funny. We're beefing with mascots in June. This show, I feel like this show has made it at this point, and
It's like Peter Griffin versus the chicken.
Oh, the chicken.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
up.
Which that is an all time. That is an all time.
Yes.
I guess we should answer some fantasy questions. Uncle Ted, Ted Williams, the splendid Splinter, wants to know: is Kimani Vidal a must draft? Your thoughts, Laquan?
If he's late in those drafts, like late rounds, we're talking double digits. I'm acquiring him, at all costs as a running back with potential to step up. You have two guys that have faced injury history, so I think he's like one of those guys you do want to have on your rosters.
I've been drafting him a lot. I don't know. I would say this, Flora, is the backfield too crowded with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins there? I mean, how does this work out? I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a flaw in my thinking, but I've kind of been treating J.K. Dobbins like he doesn't exist. Like I know he's there and he's gonna get some volume and stuff, but like all of these series, maybe if he looks the same in training camp, but as of right now, I'm like coming off of all of these severe injuries. I just think the ball is heavily. He's behind the 8 ball, whatever the expression is. The only reason I don't find myself with as much Vidal is because like Ray Davis goes around him, Marshawn Lloyd kind of. So like I've been spreading out my rookie running back shares.
Even if Daniel Jeremiah was tweeting the other day about how fantasy managers should draft J.K. Dobbins, does that influence you guys at all?
No, that is nasty work there. No, not for fantasy. Not
we're not. We're down on D. We're fading DJ's advice, huh?
But we love the talent of JK. We love the story, but no, we've been burned. I'm not waiting for a year 5 breakout.
Well,
I'm not losing sleep over that.
It's just too many. It's devastating injuries. I think is more than anything else. So
speaking of people who were, did you see Tom Pelissero had Austin Eckler on Insiders yesterday?
Yeah.
And Eckler was like, expect the usual. And look, I know players are going to say that, but I thought what was most interesting about it was he was like, I had the high ankle sprain in week 1, landed on the IR. I came back. I immediately sprained my other ankle.
Yeah.
So that to me was kind of like maybe he does deserve a pass for what happened last year.
Oh, I fully believe that. I felt that way. Like I felt like he got hurt and then he rushed himself back. And I didn't know he hurt his other ankle, but I definitely got the sense that he wasn't fully healthy and that he came back quickly for 2 reasons. One, to help the Chargers, but also because he knew he was hitting free agency and he had to put something on tape. So I fully believe that. My issue with Austin Eckler in Washington is just that they may not use him the same sort of way that the Chargers used him for all those years. So that's it.
I don't expect him to get the same usage like he did with the Chargers, but maybe I'm wrong in this. My read has been like the thinking has been that Brian Robinson will be the goal line back. And I get why. Like you look at the two, he looks like the goal line back, but like, are we forgetting that Austin Eckler was the best touchdown scorer in the NFL for a multi-year stretch?
He was a touchdown monster for sure.
Yeah.
Although I still have been drafting Brian Robinson.
Yes.
Speaking of Washington, Craig wants to know, do you think Brandon Ayuk, I'm guessing, will be going to Washington or stay? I don't know about y'all. I think he's staying in San Francisco.
He's staying.
I hope he leaves.
I know you do. I get it. He was like, chatting with his old college quarterback, Jaden Daniels or whatever, talking about they don't want me. But if you're the 49ers and you're trying to trade him now, you don't get anything close to, I think, fair market value for a guy like that. Not at this point in the summer. So you figure it out. And I know right now Brandon is salty, and I'm waiting any day now for the Brandon Ayuk has scrubbed all the 49ers references from his social media. Like it's going to be
week.
Right. That train is never late. That's coming. I think they will work it out. They'll figure it out, even if it's a short-term thing. But I don't think he's leaving San Francisco.
Me neither, because I think if you're the 49ers, like I know the thinking is always like, we can't let this guy just walk. We need to get something for him. But you were a touchdown away from winning the Super Bowl last year. Like if Ayuk comes back this year and you win it and then he walks, it's still worth it.
Yep, exactly.
Get the ring. Finish the job.
finish the job. That's all it is. Is this your burner, LQ?
No. Well, the Rams are a cheat sheet, kind of like Miami last year, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, I feel as though this offense is healthy now. I feel like you got Matthew Stafford. He's not paid yet, but they might be one of those sneaky guys that sneak through the playoffs against that people were scared of last year.
I mean, I think this is definitely a good team. I think the Rams are going to be very competitive this year. I think in fantasy, what you're looking at, obviously, Puka, you got Cooper Cup, Kyron. I've been drafting Blake Corum. I
Demarcus Robinson's like one of my last picks in drafts, in best balls.
I think I got him in one or two spots. I've been drafting Matthew Stafford, so they are going to have some pieces for sure. Yeah. And I think they're all spread out too. Like you got the high end guys like Puka and Cup and Kyron. You got guys who are a little bit, are priced a little bit better like Stafford and Robinson. So I mean, I think the Rams are a good fantasy option for sure.
Yeah. They're injury prone Miami, like that, or injury concerned Miami.
Come on, Mike. What did I do?
If they stay healthy, yeah, they can be off. Like Stafford last year, when he got healthy and that thumb healed down the stretch, they were one of the best. I kept telling you, Laquan, like I think you guys can go to the Super Bowl. Like that's how good you guys.
You actually like inspired. I was like, yo, we can. You're right.
Oh no! Let's do it. Please don't gas him up. Please don't gas him up.
I love Matt Stafford, so as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of it, right? They got to keep him healthy because that's the thing. If Stafford gets hurt, and I know that you could say this about most teams with their starting quarterback, but I think especially for the Rams, if Stafford gets hurt, it's going to be rough. It's going to be hard for them.
Well, we got Jimmy G. Short pass.
Like I said, if Stafford gets hurt, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for them. That's our pal Matt Bubar asking, why would the Rams move Kyron into the slot? They already have a pretty good. Matt, don't buy into these like wide running backs to move. Don't buy into it. It's a lie.
Practice in the slot.
It's a fairy tale. It's like every year there's one or two running backs like, oh, he's going to work in the slot. He's going to run pass routes. And it's like, yeah, that guy maybe runs like, 10. Like I'm not. I've stopped buying into that story at all. Interesting one here from Kid Phantom. Regarding the podcast yesterday, which is out now, you can download it and check it out. Name for the Colts version of the brotherly shove. The Colts name could be the Goal Line Gallop. Yeah, that's better. Because the only one I had come up with was like the Naptown Nudge, but this is way better. This is way better.
Is Indy known as the Naptown?
Naptown. Yeah, like Indian Nap-olis.
Okay.
Bars. I see.
Yeah, I was like, no, but Goal Line Gallop is way better.
Goal Line Gallop is fire.
That's way better for sure. This is one from our pal, the Nick Stan. Who's the guy you won't leave the draft without? Who's somebody that you guys are just like at all costs? I'm getting this guy.
I got
who's your Vontae Mack? Now that you know what that means, Laquan.
Now I get the reference,
right?
I think it's Jaden Daniels, man. I'm just so interested in him, man. I've just been watching a lot of him since you put me on to him. Really, honestly, Marcus, where I can see big things happening for him. So he's at a great cost. Like I just have to have him in Superflex as my QB2.
I love Jaden Daniels. I'm drafting him a ton of spots. Anybody that you have to get Florio no matter what?
I don't know if there's a lot of like players that I know are my guys and stuff, but like I don't think I have fully determined yet which one is like the number. Like Kyler Murray came to mind. I'm fully have decided I am an Isaiah Pacheco stan. Like I have him as my RB8
jersey.
Yeah, I'm big on him. I think he's undervalued right now. You guys have got me to come around on Chris Godwin. I like Calvin Ridley a lot, Will Levis as a late round quarterback, but like to me it's always the later round guys like Levis, Malachi Corley, Jermaine Burton are some that come to mind. Because the earlier round guys, you don't know, I could say I want Isaiah Pacheco, but I might not get him because someone else in the second round could take him or something like that. So later round is usually a lot easier to get your guys.
Yeah, and like it's weird now because doing a lot of these drafts all at once, I'm starting to see ADPs change, and guys that I was able to get earlier are getting harder to get. I'll say, not that I'm all in on Brock Purdy, but it's been a lot harder to get Brock Purdy lately. I feel like his ADP is going up a lot. Like I got Kyle Pitts a lot earlier. I'm not getting a lot of Kyle Pitts right now because he's going that much earlier. But I think the later round guys, I'm starting to come around on Will Levis right now. I think Ray Davis, another one, Marshawn Lloyd. Those are some guys that I'm really starting to get a little bit later.
I love the late round running backs available, like guys like that. Man, those are going to be gems in the drafts.
For sure.
Talk about Pitts. I've kind of decided that in most leagues, my starting tight end is going to be Dalton Kincaid or Kyle Pitts.
Oh, I've gotten a pretty good variety. I've gotten a lot of Mark Andrews. I've gotten some George Kittle. I'm nervous about the Kittle.
Yeah.
I have very little Sam Laporta just because I would rather wait.
I can't get him. I can't get him. I'm never there.
Trey McBride.
Yeah, I got a lot of
I like McBride.
I like Trey and David Njoku. Those are my combos there.
Yeah. I don't think I have any Laporta. I have a little bit of Travis Kelce. And that is kinda it.
We all loved Sam Laporta last year, and he won me a championship. He's a keeper in one of my leagues, but I think we need to remember he didn't have 900 yards. Like if he goes from 10 touchdowns to 7 touchdowns this year, we're gonna feel that unless the yardage jumps up.
Yeah,
true.
No, you're right, and that's why I'm going with Trey McBride because I feel like you can get similar production a couple rounds later and not have to pay the price for that. I want to get to this real quick. Let's see if I can pull this up and share this without completely blowing things up. You guys have seen this, right? With old Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson, right? Like it looks all great, like they're like things look cool, right? And then all of a sudden you get to the back, you're like, whoa, what is happening?
Where's the rest of it?
Where is the rest of it? You're like, all right, I get it. Like this is Fashion Week. It's Paris. It's like, like you're gonna see some things that like, maybe you're not gonna be wearing just down the street in Cincinnati or something like that. But like, in no universe am I wearing something with a snatched back like that.
You got to explain to me what the point of this is. Like maybe if he had a really cool back tattoo or something like that, but it's just bare back. Like I don't understand. It just looks like someone ripped his shirt open.
Yeah, just appreciate it's not the pants.
It's natural. Well, it's I guess natural air conditioning, right? It's sort of what this is. Like you're just air conned out. You were saying, Flory, was it you? There's like athletes used to always want to be rappers, and now they want to be models.
Yes. When like I mean, there's still some that want to be rappers, but like Shaquille O'Neal is dropping an album next week.
Wow.
That is
wow.
And apparently Jay-Z and Nas are featured on it. Like I don't know how, but
all right.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I mean like athletes, because like athletes wanted to be rappers wanted to be athletes. Now like both groups just want to be models at this point. I love
it's a better pivot, in my opinion.
A pimp named Snatchback. You say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. Here's the thing. So I had a theory though on why it is that everybody wants to be models now. Mostly because I feel like the beefs in the model world probably aren't as like I think they exist, right? Like if you are if you are somebody who's working at a very high level in any industry, chances are you're going to run across somebody that you don't like or that doesn't like you. But like nobody's ever like, hey man, you remember that runway walk Tyson Beckford had back in '94? Man, that was devastating. Like nobody talks about that, right? There is no Not Like Us of the fashion model world. Like there's no show that was just like the pop out where you're like, oh man, you see what they did to Yves Saint Laurent? Like nobody says stuff like that.
Now you're just dropping seeds in the fashion world, and there probably will be now.
Right? Watch. I don't even know who any supermodel. Like I don't know what like Kylie Jenner or whatever is going to start.
Tyra Banks is she still
flexing on people?
Drake could go after ASAP Rocky for being a model now.
Is he a model too?
I think so. I don't know. He does a lot.
This one from Great Scott. What's up, chat? In your opinions, how do you rank the top 5 receivers? I got CD, Tyreek, Chase, Amon-Ra, Jefferson, AJ Brown close to Jefferson in my opinion as well. Florio, how do you got your top 5 receivers?
I keep going back and forth between Tyreek Hill and CD Lamb, and I think I'm settling on Tyreek Hill being 1. I just think he's more explosive. I think CD is safer because he's younger. I think Dak is a better quarterback than Tua, but Tyreek is just so explosive and was so consistently good and better than everyone until he got hurt last season. I have Jamar Chase at 3 because I think if anyone surpasses either of those top 2 guys, it's Chase with a healthy Joe Burrow. Then I go back and forth between Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Amon-Ra is safer. Jefferson probably still has a little bit of a higher ceiling because he's arguably the best talent in the league. But shout out to you, Great Scott, because AJ Brown, I think, belongs in this group, and he's always left out of it.
Yeah, I think I like the top three where he has them: CD, Tyreek, Chase. I would probably go. I might go Amon-Ra, then AJ Brown, or maybe AJ Brown and Amon. I have Jefferson just outside my top 5 this year.
Nice.
Ooh.
And
I
but
like
but
that.
it's not even him. It's the quarterback. That's all.
Yes.
It-
Yeah.
it has nothing
QB
to
play
do with-
matters.
Has nothing
Yeah.
to do with nothing to do with JJ himself. It's just the quarterback situation. So I'm not sure if I'm going AJ and Amon-Ra or Amon-Ra and AJ, but those are the two guys in my top 5.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't know. How do you have him, Laquan?
CD and Tyreek, you can't go wrong. They're 1 or 2. It doesn't really matter there if you're at the draft. But I got Chase, and then I have Justin Jefferson over Amon-Ra. And I feel like that decision is based on Jefferson's talent. And I think hopefully, Jared Goff can maintain and stay consistent because as a Rams fan, I have PTSD with his consistency. So it's like, I hope that this year he maintains and build off of what last year. And hopefully Amon-Ra can score some more touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, look, Amon-Ra is just such a monster, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, but Jared Goff, man, he's still Jared Goff.
I don't know, man. This Jared Goff looks different than Rams Jared Goff.
He looks so much more happier, but I feel as though the inconsistency is still flashes.
He just got
sometimes.
married too.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
no, shout out them. Congrats, man.
Shout out to Jared Goff, right? Does he know that? Has he figured out that the sun sets in the west yet?
Not sure.
Not
They should
sure.
re-ask him that.
Somebody should re-ask him if he knows that for now. Before we get out of here, we got to do our Florio Film Festival entry
Yes.
for the week. I mentioned at the top of the show, Donald Sutherland, after a long, illustrious acting career, died last week. And so just after it happened in our text chat, friends of mine were quoting his lines from the movie Backdraft. And I was like, we should watch Backdraft. So 1991.
Let's go.
A whole lot of people in this movie. I mean, William Baldwin is sort of the star. Him and Kurt Russell, Robert De Niro, Donald Sutherland, Jennifer Jason Leigh, J.T. Walsh. I mean, it is a who's who of sort of like early '90s movies. And so I don't know. I would say this, Florio. It very much felt like a '90s movie. And at the beginning, I'm like, ooh, maybe this doesn't hold up. But by the end, I'm like, okay, this movie still holds up pretty well. I don't know how you felt about it.
It felt so 90s. The entire movie. I was like, yo, you did not have to tell me this was made in the early 90s. I just would have known. I didn't know young at the time. Robert De Niro was in it. And he's one of my favorite actors of all time. So I was really excited about that. When Brian first showed up and he's not the firefighter yet, I was like, who is this Tommy DeVito guy coming on my screen right now? And then he ends up being the main character. I liked it. I will say I thought the storyline at times was a little confusing, like who they're going after, who the bad guy is, and all that. I watched it in multiple parts, and I had softball time wrong last night, so like it was later than I had anticipated. So maybe I need to give it a second watch through. But the action was good and everything. The only thing I'll say is one of my best friends and former roommates is an FDNY firefighter, and their life is not nearly as exciting as this movie makes it out to be.
No, I mean, like literally every moment they're like off to not just a regular, like a huge fire, right? Like this is not just like
every day of their life.
Avengers threat level fire every time. That's my note of the whole movie. Like, what is going on?
I mean, according to this movie, the city of Chicago is under constant threat of inferno. Like, like that's the whole takeaway from this movie. So apparently, according to Cap for Life, Backdraft used real flames. Well, yeah, I mean, this was like the early '90s, so they weren't CGIing stuff like that. I mean, so there's a lot of practical effects for this.
That seems very dangerous.
If I remember right, I know Universal Studios, the theme park had like a Backdraft like stage show or attraction or something like that. I want to say that I went there like in high school, and I just remember it being shocking, ungodly hot. Inside of there because there was like actual flames going off. I know you love 90s movies, LQ. Your feelings on this one.
like 90s movies to me, like I noticed some things that shouldn't be funny. Like the movie kicks off very diabolical to me, man, because you have the young kid, Brian, I believe his name is. His dad blows up in a building. His hat drops right in front of him. And then you have the paparazzi guys shooting a photo 2 inches from his face.
Right?
I'm like, yo, this is the real villain of the entire movie.
Like
what?
I had the thought of like
child sadness, right?
It did make me realize though that when you see pictures on like a newspaper, like that's how they come to be. Like I never actually thought about that, you know?
Just like, what? Like, what are we doing?
I thought it was interesting, like, like that part happens and they flash forward to 20 years later, and like Brian is just graduated from the academy, and his buddy Tim was really horny to fight fires. Like he was really excited
he got
about
burned.
and then they go to a building and like if you live in that building, this is literally the worst day of your life, right? Like your house, your home is up in flames, your possessions are being destroyed, and here's this one kid who's like, yeah, this is the real deal, let's go. Like
it's not a line,
right? I mean, like he was treating it like, he got tickets to opening day. Like, what are we doing here?
One for death, bro. What are we thinking?
You got people on the side who are like in tears because their lives are just destroyed. And this one kid's like, yeah, let's go fire. Woo! That, and apparently like firefighters just smoke like chimneys because they all smoked cigarettes in this movie.
Smoking a cigarette after a fire in the building, like
right.
What
is happening?
90s firefighters, look, when they were running in to save those buildings, their pockets weren't empty. I was waiting for some of that to happen.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was wild. So I will go out on a limb, Florida, and say of the movies we have watched, this one's probably at the bottom. I mean, it's I guess like I'm not saying it's terrible, but compared to the other movies we have watched, this one is definitely not up to par with the rest of them.
You know what? I'm happy you said that because I always feel bad ranking a movie low because I'm like, you wouldn't be recommending it if you didn't like it or something like that. But yeah, it came forth for me. But
admittedly, like I saw this in the theater when I was like 14, and like this was like pretty dope, right? Like 1991. Like I went back, I haven't watched it in years, so I watched it yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I can see how 14-year-old me loved this movie. Like I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's definitely one of those movies that if I saw it in 91, my feelings of it would be a lot different than seeing it in 2024 when movies have come a long way.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, my feelings aren't hurt at all. There it is.
And I told you I don't think anything's touching Godzilla -1 this year.
No, I mean that was probably that is the 1.01 without a doubt. Yeah. Oh, I love this from Mr. Scampers. It's no Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie. If you want to go out and watch Big Trouble in Little China, like either one of you just on your own, like I fully recommend it. I'm not going to recommend it for this thing because like
it's my aunt's favorite movie. I don't know
cheesy.
Why.
I mean, it's cheesy. It's corny. Like it's not a great movie, but it is a fun movie. Like if you are not of sound mind, like on a Friday night or something like that, like Big Trouble in Little China is a lot of fun to watch, but I'm not going to actually, it's a Kurt Russell classic. Big old Jack Burton heading through Chinatown. Like, it's amazing. Not going to recommend it for that. I will, however, because I was talking about this movie the other day. Have either of you guys seen RRR?
I've heard of it. You and Hytham have discussed it many times over lunch, and I have yet to see it.
Then this is going to be our next film. For next week, it's on, I believe it's still on Netflix. It is. Somebody was asking me the other day, and one of my side hustles where I do some radio asked me what kind of ridiculous things I'd like to do in my life that I've never done. And I said, I'd like to be in a Bollywood film, and RRR was the kind of the movie that I wanted to be in.
I just Googled it. And,
it's a Bollywood film?
It is a Bollywood film. Yeah, in fact, it's subtitled. It is in Hindi, I think. But it is like the ultimate story of friendship with action and music. Dude, a dude punches a tiger in the face.
Gold.
I had to watch in college a lot of Bollywood movies because media studies and all that. So I appreciate those movies. I'm down to watch them.
So there he goes. That's next week's movie. It's gonna be RRR. We will we'll get back next week. Actually, no, not 2 weeks from now. Because we're off next week. That's right. We are dark next week, folks. We got the 4th of July holiday coming up next week. So we are taking the entire week off. So you got 2 weeks, which is good because it's kind of long. I think it's like 3 hours. It's 3 hours long.
It's gonna take me the full 2 weeks.
I when I watched it the first time, like I watched it in 2 sections. Like I watched the first half, I paused it, I went to sleep, and then I got up and I watched the next half. So we'll talk about that in a couple weeks when we are back on.
Sweet.
There it is. Thanks everybody in the chat. The chat was buzzing today. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Good energy.
A whole lot. It's been really great energy on this show. We are grateful for all of you who've been able to kind of jump in and participate. I know I've talked to some people who say they watch this pretty regularly, and so I'm certainly thankful and grateful for all of them and for all of you as well. So that'll do it for this edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. Shout out to Susie. I know you have to somehow try to edit this into multiple shows. Godspeed. We love you. We appreciate all your work. For the rest of you out there, enjoy the weekend. Stay out of the heat wherever you are. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon, everybody. Thanks.